Alright, cooking. The second video on it, I suppose. We have another squash to fight. We have water here, we have pasta, we have tomato, and we've got salt and red pepper flakes, along with some garlic and a pinch of ginger. So, I bet you what you're thinking is, how is he going to prepare all of this? Let's find out. Oh, we've also got some olive oil. So, first things first, is this whole video is actually going to be a challenge of sorts, because I want to try and get this sauce working before this water is boiling and this pasta is done. So, start up the stove, get a lighter, and then start up the stove. Let's orientate this real quick. Sorry. Do. Hello, Eric. Thought for a second that I slammed that door shut and that instantly fell over. Anyway, lighter to start your stove. Nice.
I hate God.
Why do you hate God?
He's fighting me currently.
Oh, we've also got tomato paste there as part of our sauce that
There.
Eric is trying to open.
Tomato bags.
It's opened. And a little gross.
A little bit.
Bring that to a roaring boil. And now it's time. Rematch with the squash. Oh, actually, it's not quite. We're making pasta. A dab of olive oil into the water. It forms cool little bubbles.
Yeah?
Yeah, look at it, if you want.
Cool little bubbles.
Cool little bubbles.
Oh, they do make cool little bubbles. It's cute.
Yeah, see? Cool little bubbles.
Cool little bubbles.
And then you salt your water. Now, theoretically, you go by taste here, and you want your water to taste like the ocean, or at least that's what I was taught. If that sounds excessive, then just salt it a bit. It makes the flavor of the noodles much better. But as with anything, it's better to do it under than over. Unless you're talking about cooking chicken. Burn the hell out of chicken. Anyway, squash rematch. So cut the base so it can stand, cut the top so that you don't have to deal with it, cut straight down long ways, and then you can scoop it out. Easy in theory. This knife is visibly bending. Do you have a trash bag for me?
Yeah, let me get you real quick.
We're getting a lot of squash guts.
Oh. That's what I like to hear.
Let me do this a little bit in scene. Be smarter than I. Use a fucking chef knife.
And a cutting board.
True. Alright, this is not going to go straight down. This is actually going to go to the side. Fine, we've cut off a piece of squash. I'll make do.
No, it won't. Here, look out. One trash bag.
I hate this. Butternut squash is going on the list of things to never buy again for a road trip.
Yeah.
Alternatively, just don't not bring a good knife for it.
Prepare to cut it.
Yeah.
Even if it means bringing a saw to squash, you might just have to.
Man, I wish I had an electrical buzzsaw thing. Just cut straight through this without me having to deal with it.
Saw.
Yeah, you know what? Not even a cooking saw. I just want a circular saw for the squash. Same deal, just cut this out. I'm gonna actually butterfly this, I think, is the term. So by cutting down one way and then cutting the other way, I'm just getting little slivers of it in, with minimal risk of cutting my fingers off. I want to have this add a little bit of flavor to the sauce, kind of like a meat would. So this actually won't need too much squash. It's just we don't have a way of preserving it, so if I'm cutting a squash, I'm cutting all of the squash. Yeah, that's fine. For those wondering, no, I'm not cut. I just smacked myself with a knife.
Good job.
Don't worry, it's dull enough that I'm fine.
The other knife?
No, it's not the knife's fault. It's a thin little, like, cut up cooked chicken knife, not a desecrate a squash knife. But we don't have a good chef knife, so making do. What I might be able to do is make this a little bit easier with a lot more waste and just cut these sides down. Yeah, there you go. And now I can just do this. Boop. It's not cut into my fingers direction. There we go, now we're cooking with fire. Well, that stove at least. Anyway. It actually cuts fairly easily, it just requires getting it to this point because the skin is very hard. Yeah. Note that this burner that I'm cutting over is not on. Just in case you are really worried about my intelligence here. Garlic. We're gonna try to do the method where you crush the garlic.
No, it won't.
It's okay, it's in a skin. So there you go. So if you crush garlic, the skin comes off fairly easily. And it's also not very difficult to crush relative to other stuff. This water is starting to get fairly hot. Also, unlike the last dish, the risotto, where I went, oh, garlic was a mistake. For a pasta, it should add flavor, because, different, you know, cooking. So normally you'd mince garlic. I don't have a cutting board, so if I mince this, it's just gone forever. As such, instead, I'm going to dice it down as best I can. And just kind of accept that, yeah, it's gonna be a little... There's gonna be a few garlic chunks in this pasta. Hopefully not many, though. Oh, also, don't cut off the tip of your garlic. There we go. Any little hairs are just flavor enhancers. Demon dice. So, we've reached a point where we've got about the base for the sauce. This is still not boiling, but that's fine. Prior to cooking, we always wipe this little area down, so it's sanitary, on top of using high heat. This little piece I just don't want to bother to cut.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Fixed.
Back to... This is easier than last time, because I've actually got somewhat of a knife. Now the worst part is the squash does not get soft, because that just takes more time cooking than we really give it. I'm gonna turn the heat on for this now. Begin adding the tomato. Nice. Once again, we're going to completely waste the bottom part of the squash because I don't feel like dealing with the seeds. No, normally you can remove the seeds and, you know, work with it.
If you have the means.
If you have the means, or you're just, I don't know, maybe you're in the same situation as us, but you've got the patience of a saint. We don't. Besides, honestly, even just from this, you get more squash than 2 people could ever reasonably want to eat. This water is beginning to boil, so boil for 14 minutes, stirring occasionally. Okay, so we got some time. This might actually work out right. Great. Where the hell are we gonna drain a pasta? Anyway.
We don't have a colander, do we?
Where are we gonna put the water? That's what I was asking. The act of draining it we can make do, but yeah, whatever. Foresight not achieved. How many servings does this have? Hey, there we go. 6 servings per container. So we're gonna use about half of this. Normally you just kind of dump it right in. I'm terrified of that though, so I'm gonna be a little bit careful. Remember, if you notice that you don't really have the water to cover all the noodles, just add a little bit more. Also, we don't really have the water to cover all the noodles.
Oh.
Can you please get another bottle?
Yep.
We're only off by a little bit. I put about a water bottle and a half here.
What?
Yay! Oddly satisfying. That's hot still. Great. Once again, a little bit of olive oil. If you have butter or something else, feel free to use it. Canola oil, maybe. So, for this, because this is meant to be a pasta, First of all, I'd like it if I cut these up a little bit smaller. But more realistically, we don't want too much squash in this pasta sauce, because it's a little bit of a strong flavor. It should be more like a treat and less like a mainstay of the meal. So I'm actually going to try and keep these a little bit smaller from now on, for as much choice as I get in this matter. Like, here we go. I'm actually getting kind of good at this. Not that it's a skill I'll ever put down on my resume. Can cook squash in really shitty conditions with a lot of, what do you call those? Asterisks next to the cooking squash part. Honestly, if I was able to prepare it like this the first night, we would have had a much better risotto. Because there, the squash was meant to be like the main flavor ingredient, and we only got a little bit of it. So will we buy another squash? Not anytime soon. I might be feeling it like week 3 if this comes out really good. But next week, I think I'll just grab carrots. Ooh, this is starting to smell great. Alright, I'm gonna add like maybe half of this. And by half, I mean a quarter of what's actually half, because life is a struggle bus. Again, this knife is not meant for cutting a squash. Oh my god. So we got our sweet, we've got our bitter. Tomato is very bitter. We've got the savory a little bit in the squash. What's another flavor that you think would enhance this dish, Eric? Yeah, what's a flavor that would enhance the dish? Well, I don't know. Give me an idea. Onions are very sweet, but so is butternut squash. Also, we don't have onion, because I didn't think to buy shallots.
I don't think we have onion. I'm trying to think of what we have here.
Oh, no, I just mean, what would you add to the dish? Aside from meat, because I guess we're cooking vegetarian now?
Well, I guess that shoots down that idea, huh?
Oh, if we wanted to add meat to this, I'd say 100% a chili.
Chili, really?
Like a chili, like ground beef. Because chilies that are made sweet are delicious. That was a really good cut. See, once you aren't cutting at the skin, it's actually fairly easy to cut butternut squash. It's the skin that makes it super hard, which is why I've been cutting down and getting the skin off so that I could get it like this and just peel it. It's also much safer on my fingers.
You want to keep those?
You do want to keep those, but they're not mandatory for life. So like if you think that you can get a really good cut on a squash at the cost of your fingers, do it.
Don't. Please.
They can't hear you, Eric. You're too far off camera. He agreed.
Don't cut your fingers off for a squash.
How's that smell?
Actually, really good.
Yeah. We probably got enough squash here. Makes me sad to waste the amount we have left, though, which, by the way, just this. You wanna eat raw squash or something? Here, fuck it, we'll make it a little snack.
Cool.
Very healthy little snack. Cut. Waste. Wind is trying to blow out our fire. Cut. Waste. There we go. Bam. Slip of butternut squash. Almost looks like a cantaloupe. Probably won't taste great on its own, but it's, you know, it's edible.
It's alright.
It's alright. It's your veggie.
It tastes like a confused carrot.
It tastes like a confused carrot. In case that didn't come through.
You heard it here first, kids.
Huh? I think that's actually everything. Shit, we did it. Anyway, this is still boiling.
And you were almost praying me to death.
It's the wind, not me.
Oh.
Hmm.
B.
Bee? Why is there a bee here? I'm not a beeatist, but aren't those things supposed to be dead for the winter right now?
It's 60 degrees here.
It is 60 degrees here. What's your point? Oh, also, I've got a bit of ginger here that I'm cutting up retroactively because I completely forgot to add it. Don't worry, it's fine. Ginger is very strong, so if you're going to add ginger, just only use a little bit. Also, don't try to flip your ingredients like that when there's a strong wind blowing. It is no longer a matter of skill then. You are simply not. I mean, I guess you...
Between you and God.
I guess technically you could catch it if you just predicted the wind.
Yeah.
Caught it samurai style. Flick. Imagine you flip up your ingredients and then you pull your pot or pan like this and just pull it back in. Oh, that'd be neat. Ginger, as I said. Ginger, just kind of cut off the skin, throw it in. We're living on not the greatest conditions here, so there's some skin in that. You'll live. Garlic clove that I didn't use because I went, oh shit, that was a gigantic garlic clove. Put over there.
Seems our bee friend is left.
Our bee is left.
Yes.
And or entered our food. Now you're gonna add peanut butter.
What?
I was just checking to see if Eric was listening. Now we're actually gonna turn this into a pasta sauce. First of all, while you have the chance, cut up any of the squash that is still big. It should be soft at this point. If it's not soft, you did something wrong, not me. So you can kind of just cut it with a simple press. You don't even have to break your pot for it. Now we take I hate tomato paste. Anyway. Some tomato paste. You fight with it a little bit. A lot. Ooh, this is smelling really good, though.
That's where we're attracting bees.
Are we attracting bees?
Well, there's a second bee
Where?
by my head.
Please don't let me get stung by bees for my food. I don't even know what we'd do with that. Cry. Anyway, there, tomato paste is in, more or less. Put this down over there where it won't make a mess if anything happens to it. Open up a can of regular tomatoes. Careful opening stuff while holding a knife. Ba ba da da da. There we go. Now what we can actually do is, I have a second can of tomato paste here. So, if this isn't mixing great and it needs more tomato, we can just add it. This is still boiling, it's probably about done. Can's in the can spot. Bring this to high heat, get it cooking. Grab spatula, except that you'll have to clean it and start stirring. Ooh. Can you clean this knife off, please? Can you please clean the knife off so I could use it to dig out a noodle?
Yep.
Great. So once this sauce is hot, hopefully these noodles are about done. So sauce will have a better flavor the longer it's cooked, because more of the flavors will not simmer, seep into it. But I honestly should have gotten another regular packet of tomatoes, but I feel like we've got enough for just us here. Anyway, crushed red pepper flakes add a very good flavor to a pasta sauce. You want it to burn a little, but keep in mind that tomatoes will cut the burn a lot in the first place. Ooh, this is coming out good. So we got garlic in this, we've got red pepper flakes. We need to put a little bit of salt on the sauce itself. We've got olive oil in it, which will both give it a better texture and keep it from sticking. We've got a knife, which will let us test our noodles. We're gonna turn down this heat a little, and we're gonna keep that boil as it is. Add a sprinkle of salt just across the whole thing. Not too much. I think that's everything I wanted to put into this. Al dente. I would actually say this water needed a little more salt because these are lacking somewhat in flavor compared to what I would, normally expect to taste, but also I couldn't taste the water that great, so. Most of the flavor in this is going to come from the... Most of the flavor in this is going to come from the sauce, and I've just kind of accepted that as how that's going to be. Eric, if you would like to cheat. So, technically, we don't have cheese, but we're in the middle of a parking lot, and there is likely a spot to buy cheese. Wow, I'm actually wrong. I don't... I mean, there's something way over there, but whatever. We are going to eat this without cheese, but keep in mind, add cheese to it. It'd probably be good. This pasta is done in about a minute. It's already coming out cooked and firm. This sauce is basically done. I just wanted to taste it and see if there's anything I needed to add to it. It's a little sweet. Said it's a little sweet.
I did put squash in it, so.
I know that looks like a lot when I mix it in. It's not.
Okay.
The red pepper flakes weren't like tasteable at all. And take this and just sprinkle it for a bit. The sauce. That salt is almost peppery in flavor. So I believe it will be a good complement to this dish. Just get like a little bit out all around it. Up here too. And we're good. And that's probably all we need. Which is great because this water is starting to evaporate enough that we no longer are getting a full cook on all the noodles. Yeah, oh well. Spider-Man.
Third bee.
Okay, we're also attracting bees. Fourth bee. Where the... I'm gonna get stung in the back of my neck and die. Oh god! Bee! The bee has claimed the cooking. I don't know what to do about this. It's flying right around the phone. Please don't fall into my dish.
Bees!
Alright. Leave me alone. down. I think that's a bumblebee though, so it's not too threatening.
Oh, lovely.
Alright, so Eric?
Yeah? That's a fight a bee.
Yeah, I need you to fight a bee.
Alright, here I go. If I get stung, it'll be at least funny. Oh, well.
Alright.
I heard. The bee heard I was coming.
The bee did not want to fight. Cool.
Bee don't want that smoke.
Alright. Now we just need a place to drain this.
Brown?
I guess, do you want to go water a tree?
I'm gonna go water a tree with boiling hot water.
So, here, hold this there.
Yeah.
Be careful, it's hot.
Yep.
I'm gonna just clean up before any more bees come. What the hell is dinging? Keep this out as an extra topping. Grab our bowls, including a spork. He's still draining that pasta. Here's what the sauce looks like. Lovely.
It's about as much as I can humanly get out without just dumping all the fucking...
That's fine. There we go. So now, put this back. And then we are going to scoop. Or dump, or do whatever. You want to just use the thing.
Yeah. The spatula?
We're going to use the spatula. Posta. So I got rigatoni because it's the thickest noodle that I felt would be easy to cook. Honestly, mac and cheese type noodles would have been just as good.
Yeah.
I need to sneeze. This is yours, so do what you will.
Thank you for sneezing on it.
I didn't. I was so blatantly looking the other way.
It's okay.
I didn't sneeze on it.
It's fine.
I
Don't worry about it.
didn't.
It's okay.
Anyway. Do you have your spork, gamer?
Yes, I do.
Try it. Tell me how it is. I'm curious.
I can't grab the noodles with the spork
Why?
because it's not a good spork.
Stab it aggressively. Stab it harder?
It's not an option.
Alright. Our spork is a little bit of a joke.
Her spork is a lot of bit of a joke.
Use it as a spoon? I don't know.
That's what I'm going with.
Well, damn, I guess I should have done the mac and cheese noodles. I thought our sporks were more powerful than that.
Pretty good.
Is it good?
After the 14 episode battle it takes to get a noodle on your spork, yeah.
I'm gonna make a smart decision and fill this up a little bit less with noodles and a little bit more with sauce. So, this is kind of a different style of pasta in that the sauce was made almost to mix with the noodles as opposed to be put on top of it like a traditional... Actually, I don't know if that's traditional Italian. But unlike a traditional American Italian pasta, where the sauce is just put on top. Now, granted, I sound really intelligent for saying that, but really, we just don't have a big enough plate to even consider the first option. There you go. Lovely. It's hard to actually see anything here because these bowls are so small, but...
How is everyone finding